What was your hesitancy about getting in the first place?
What the side effects would be.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Welcome to your fourth stimulus survival check and stimulus package update. With all of the madness happening across the world, it's nice to just stop and appreciate cute kids and cute pets. So let's start with and now a puppy. To round it out, in Mexico, this dog walked through an entire parade for the Pope, thinking it was just for him. Before we get to the stimulus updates, Navy officer Deacon Blues asked a very interesting question on Twitter. Deacon asked, why is charging $50 for a $6 case of water during a hurricane considered price gouging, but charging $700 for a $5 vial of insulin is considered health care? As we all know, some federal unemployment benefits for 7 million people expired yesterday, ironically on Labor Day.
Hey everyone, so today we celebrate labor, unions, and the labor movement and how it has transformed the condition under which workers work. Thanks to unions and labor, we have the 5-day work week, we have sick leave, we have protections against harassment in the workplace. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Secretary?
I do. And also, labor unions have fought for better wages, working conditions, health benefits, and health and safety on the job site, and they've done so much to protect the American worker, and not just the American worker, all workers in America.
When labor unions are stronger, America is stronger.
And I want to say happy Labor Day to everyone. I want you to go out and thank a union member for all the great things that we have in our workforce today.
Happy Labor Day, everybody.
Labor Secretary Marty Walsh, who you just saw there next to Vice President Harris, said last week that there's no need for more stimulus checks. This week, he's adding insult to injury, saying the $300 a week in unemployment pay wasn't really helping anyone.
I think there is also some consideration going on here by people. Are they going to go back to the same job that they had pre? And you know, at the Department of Labor, we've gotten out hundreds of millions of dollars out into communities all across America for job training and workforce development. We also using the American Job Centers to connect people to jobs. So I think that in we're living, I think there's a lot of factors here. I think that $300 didn't have as much of an impact as everyone said it did and keep people out of work. We'll see now as we move forward. But those states that ended enhanced benefits did not see any gains at all of people going back to work.
Marty says if states want to extend the unemployment benefit themselves, that's up to them.
The one thing that we were able to do, myself and Secretary Yellen, was we sent letters to the states, all states, to let them know if they want to extend the benefit themselves, they can do that by using the American Rescue Plan money. Not all states, the unemployment numbers are high. Some states, the unemployment numbers are very low.
White House Chief of Staff Ron Klain echoed the same message, saying each individual state should take care of their unemployed residents instead of the federal government.
So why did the president make a decision to just let these benefits expire and not push to extend them again?
Well, Dana, the Congress, when they passed these benefits, set this as the expiration date. Right. And I would say the Delta variant is having an impact on the economy, but not so much on employment. We're at the lowest unemployment rate we have seen in this country in a year and a half, 5.2%. We've added jobs every single month we've been here. And so the states were given money as part of the rescue plan back in March to deal with the consequences of any economic dislocation. States are using that money in different ways. One of those ways is employment bonuses, paying people to take jobs. Other states are providing employment training, employment counseling. So these benefits expire under law this coming week. And we think that the states have the tools they need to help people move from unemployment to employment. Particularly, by the way, we have more unfilled jobs in this country than at any time on the record of measuring unfilled jobs. So we think the jobs are there, and we think the states have the resources they need to move people from unemployment to employment.
Ron explained that the $3.5 trillion reconciliation package adds nothing to the debt and instead is fully paid for by raising taxes on wealthy people.
This package adds nothing to the debt. Nothing to the debt. It is fully paid for by raising taxes on wealthy people. We've had people become billionaires during the pandemic. They should pay their fair share of taxes. We've had 55 big corporations pay nothing in taxes, though they have record profits. If we raise taxes on the big corporations who aren't paying, raise taxes on people using international loopholes, raise taxes on the wealthy who are not paying their fair share, we can pay for every one of those investments in the package without a penny of taxes on people making under $400,000 a year and without a penny being added to the long-term federal debt. In fact, passing these tax changes, making the people who aren't paying pay their fair share, collecting taxes from people who owe them and are dodging taxes by using loopholes, using lawyers and accountants, collecting those taxes will make our tax system fairer, make middle-class people share less of the burden, and can help bring down our debt in the long run. So I think Senator Manchin's concerns about inflation, about debts, those are concerns we can address with the provisions of this package itself.
White House senior advisor Cedric Richmond talked about the challenges that are facing Biden's $3.5 trillion infrastructure plan.
People should see what the climate change is doing, and we're going to address that in our legislation. And the president created this legislation over a year ago. So he was ahead of this, and now we just need Congress to come along with us so that we can protect the American people and then invest in them.
But you read Senator Manchin's op-ed. He said he's not for it. He says $3.5 trillion is too much. He's not going to vote for it. It can't pass without him.
Look, Senator Manchin is a valued partner. We're going to continue to work with him, but we're also going to continue to push our agenda. And part of this, George, is just the sausage-making process, and it just happens. And this is happening in public view, but it's not abnormal for this to happen in the legislative process, and we're still full steam ahead on trying to get our legislation passed.
If the name Cedric Richmond sounds familiar, he's the one President Biden referred to as boy last week.
Good afternoon, everybody. We're waiting for a few more people to get on, but we're going to get started, if that's okay with you all. And thanks for joining me. I'm here. The FEMA director is on. FEMA Director Criswell, she's on, and I'm here with my senior advisor and boy who knows Louisiana very, very well, man, and New Orleans, and Cedric Richmond.
Now, the big question that everyone's been asking for months is, will you receive another stimulus check? Well, the answer is that it entirely depends on Democrats and the pressure they receive from lobbyists. Republicans are basically just waiting on the sidelines. House Democrat moderates have been pretty quiet about the reconciliation process since they had it out with Nancy Pelosi over the budget resolution. Right now, they're laser focused on passing the bipartisan infrastructure bill and waiting for Senators Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema to bail them out on reconciliation. Senator Joe Manchin is still holding his ground by hitting the pause button on the entire fourth stimulus package.
I would ask my colleagues and all of the Senate to hit the pause button on the 3.5. Hit the pause button. Let's sit back. Let's see what happens. We've got so much on our plate. We really have an awful lot. I think that would be the prudent, wise thing to do. I know they're going to go nuts right now because it's probably been, what I just said is going to all my caucus in Washington.
Here they come.
But I'm thinking of it from the standpoint of where we are as a nation today, that we weren't here a week ago or 2 weeks ago. Everything has changed. And I don't know what the unknown is. I don't know what the future on this is. I know one thing, I want to be prepared for it. I want to be able to take care of our military that can defend us anywhere in the world if it's called upon. I want to make sure our economy is still robust. I want to make sure we're bringing manufacturing back and opportunities. I don't want to have debt over our head to where we basically can't service the debt that we have. All those things are very much concerning to me. And with all that hanging in limbo right now, Shelley will tell you, the 3.5 trillion, there's a lot of good stuff in there. There's things in there that she, at a certain would like, that Democrats and Republicans can agree on. But it's not anything that we need immediately.
U.S. Senate candidate Morgan Harper tweeted, "Politicians like Joe Manchin have always put pause on the needs of our community. So it's time we press pause on corporate-backed politicians. Americans voted for Joe Biden's agenda, not Joe Manchin's. Abolish the filibuster." Morgan included the following video.
Hey everybody, so just touched down here in Cleveland. We're at 105 and North Boulevard. And as you can tell, we have some real infrastructure needs here in the state of Ohio. Cleveland was recently named the poorest city in the entire United States. So we don't have time to pause. Politicians that are backed by corporations are fine just talking, and waiting for nothing to happen. But we're demanding change now. That's what I'm going to fight for, and that's the type of U.S. Senator I'll be for the state of Ohio.
Just a few days shy of his 80th birthday, Mr. Bernie Sanders was back on the campaign trail last week. Not for a higher rank in political office, but instead campaigning for the $3.5 trillion package that, if passed, would amount to the most significant expansion of the social safety net since the Great Society of the 1960s. When asked what was Mr. Sanders doing in Iowa, Bernie said, "I am chairman of the Senate Budget Committee, and I am here to explain what the hell is in the budget for the American people." Now, Congress is still out enjoying their paid vacations, but in the meantime, after seeing that America added only 235,000 jobs in August, House Budget GOP leader Jason Smith said, "When you consider that Joe Biden spent $1.9 trillion to rescue the American economy, today's jobs numbers can only be considered a failure." Nearly 6 months ago, the Biden bailout bill was signed into law, and today we have what? An uninspiring jobs report, inflation that's crippling family budgets, and countless examples of waste, all at the expense of hard-working Americans. Last week, Jason had the following to say while speaking on the floor.
The last 24 hours we need to just step back and look at it. And I need to remind my members and remind the folks across the aisle that what we've just witnessed is a circus. And also remind them that this is the people's house. This is not Pelosi's palace. This is the people's house. The middle of July, we were supposed to mark up a budget in the House Budget Committee, but the Democrats did not have the votes.
The gentleman will suspend. The House will be in order. The gentleman may proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Before the August recess, we were supposed to pass the House budget. The Democrats did not have the votes. Yesterday, up until about 1 a.m. this morning, in fact, we were going to pass the House budget, but the Democrats did not have the vote. So now they have a scheme before us, a scheme that they're putting the Bernie's budget with the transportation bill, which is not even going to be voted on today, not even going to be voted on this week, not even going to be voted on this month, along with a voting rights bill, because they can't pass Bernie's budget. You know why they can't pass Bernie's budget? Is because the American people are fed up with the Democrats' reckless spending. Right now, we are facing the Biden inflation crisis. We are facing the Biden border crisis. We are facing the Biden energy crisis. And we are facing the Biden Afghanistan crisis. Yet, they bring forth a budget resolution that only makes those crises worse. $68 trillion in new spending, the most spending in the history of this country. $17 trillion of debt, the largest increase of debt. In fact, more debt than the entire economies of every country in the world except for the United States. Bernie Sanders may have lost the presidential primary, but his policies have won. Bernie Sanders controls this chamber along with the liberal squad. But the American people are watching, and they're fed up, and they are letting the American people know whenever this chamber changes and we actually bring order back to the House of Representatives. I yield back.
If you remember, Jason Smith is the one who advised his fellow lawmakers to put the health care of our seniors ahead of prisoners, illegal immigrants, and the political class.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My colleagues and I have introduced an alternative, a more responsible approach that protects our seniors and rolls back some of the more wasteful and absurd parts of the Democratic bailout bill. I would encourage my colleagues on the other side of the aisle to put America's seniors ahead of their special interest allies. Join us in finding a solution that protects and respects America's seniors and the working class. We will offer such a solution as a motion to recommit. If adopted, it will instruct the Committee on the Budget to consider an amendment to make the sensible cuts in waste offered in H.R. 1999, the Protect Seniors and Cut Waste Act. Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent to insert the text of the amendment in the record immediately prior to the vote on the motion to recommit.
Without objection.
Let's put the health care of our seniors ahead of prisoners, illegal immigrants, and the political class.
I think most of us can agree that we'd like to see new lawmakers in office. Perhaps Elon Musk. Mike Brock tweeted, "Say what you want about Elon Musk, but between Tesla and SpaceX, it's hard for me to think of another person alive today that is bending the trajectory of humanity towards a more positive future at the scale he is. Our political leaders certainly aren't these days. He's a very flawed human being. So am I. So are you. You certainly have a right to your cynicism, but I, for one, am inspired by what he's pulled off." One politician, Texas Governor Greg Abbott, says that he frequently talks to Elon Musk.
And this is not slowing down businesses coming to the state of Texas at all. In fact, it is accelerating the process of businesses coming to Texas, particularly, Morgan, interestingly. They are leaving the very liberal state of California. And I got to tell you, whether it be Elon Musk, who I talk to frequently, Elon had to get out of California because in part of the social policies in California, and Elon consistently tells me that he likes the social policies in the state of Texas.
Mr. Musk followed that up with a tweet saying, "In general, I believe government should rarely impose its will upon the people, and when doing so, should aspire to maximize their cumulative happiness. That said, I would prefer to stay out of politics." Elon Musk was wrong back in 2015 when he said Tesla could be worth $700 billion in 10 years. It turns out they only needed 5 years to make that happen. Today is a historic day for Bitcoin. The world is changing forever, as today Bitcoin is now officially legal tender in El Salvador. In the plan to incentivize El Salvadorians to start using Bitcoin, citizens there will have the option to receive $30 in Bitcoin for free via the government's Chivo wallet app. To celebrate this landmark achievement, a gigantic Reddit thread of Bitcoiners from all over the world also coordinated to all buy their $30 in Bitcoin today as well. Well, there you go. If you liked today's video, feel free to give this video a like by pressing the thumbs up button. If you would like to see more updates like this, then subscribe to this channel by clicking the subscribe button as well.